How are you guys? Hope all is well. I'm just going to do a video about what I'm looking at for this current week. I'm going to be going over a few pairs, so US dollar, AU, GU, pound Swiss, and euro pound as well. So first of all, checking out the dollar. I said last week, or a couple of weeks ago, I was expecting this weekly high to get taken, and you can see we have actually just had that. I could also potentially see some, let's take this way, some more pullback on the weekly to go long. We do have some imbalance and things down here which could actually be filled to then actually take it a little bit higher and take out this high. So far, what I'm looking at is we had a lot of mitigations, breaks of structures, and manipulations in here. Price actually came a lot lower. We did come into this 50% of this whole weekly range from this low to this high from this break of structure. So really what I'm waiting for now to see if price is actually going to come down a bit deeper. We do have some daily demand in here and in here, which I'm actually expecting to get met. Or we're just going to continue and pump a little bit higher. Personally, I do think we could probably head down a little bit more just because some other pairs are potentially telling me they could come up a little bit. So we will see what happens. But for so far, let me just delete a lot of this off. So far, if we drop it down the 30-minute, we had this London high here, which you can see got taken. This mitigated previous supply zones that had been created. And you can see we had this high that was taken, London high. And then going back into a London session, we took out this high, and we did take out an old 3 o'clock high as well on the New York session GMT. So now currently we are kind of having a little bit of fight between supply and demand. You can see this is our big supply zone that was created, and mitigations until we actually start coming down and sweeping some old New York lows. I did actually say, or I did upload in the group that I was expecting this low to get taken. You can see we did actually take that low. So far now we have some 30-minute demand. Really now and truly what I'm going to be waiting for is if we're going to manipulate it and then actually start heading higher, or if we're actually going to start breaking structure to the downside and see if we can actually start taking out this low down here, if not potentially further. You can see this low is still kind of potentially a target for us. We do have a nice little single wick low down here, so potentially see if we could actually get some downside to then go long, or if we're actually just going to continue from here. So really and truly, I'm just either waiting for this supply or this demand to actually be invalidated. So we'll see what happens going into the week. I've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday here, so we'll see how it plays out throughout the rest of the week. AU. AU high time frames, we are kind of coming into our lower low. I do think we could potentially come in and take that out, but for the time being, we do potentially have other things we could do maybe beforehand. I would have liked to have seen this low get broken, but for this current point, you can see we are actually mitigating our demand so far. You can see we came into a nice 40-minute here, 45-minute, and then just the mitigations have actually been paying off quite nicely, and we are actually shifting momentum at the moment. So you can see with our structure, this is what we're looking at. You can see we had a breaker structure here, but now we are actually kind of starting to have a bit of a change of momentum. So what I am going to wait and see is price is going to come back down and start heading up. We do have some highs in here. We do have a nice little 5-minute supply zone in here, which I would like to see as a target. But we've got a lot of Asian range. We've got a lot of London highs in here. So I potentially could see that being a target and potentially coming up into this kind of 4-hourly zone, potential, well, high time frame, looking for that 12-hour. So we could have this high as a target and kind of moon to then come back down, or at least potentially maybe mitigate higher up in here. That's quite a big call, I know, but I will like to see what is going to happen. But I am going to wait for a few things. I'm going to wait to see. We do have this nice high here. We do have some liquidity resting here. So are we going to potentially come down and start heading to the upside? Or are we potentially just going to break and just head a lot lower? And if we do start heading lower, then there's potentially going to be something in here which I'd like to trade off from and then continue a bit further down. But for the time being, there is an undeniable kind of shift happening at the moment. So I do want to wait and see if we are either going to kind of pull into this zone. Lowest is this zone, and if we do actually start breaking, then I'm going to kind of shift my bias. But so far, I'm kind of potentially waiting for dollar to come down. This I'm kind of waiting for AU to go up potentially. So everything is looking quite nice, but that is what I'm looking at. I'm potentially looking for longs, unless these lows all get invalidated and we have a clear breaker structure to the downside. High time frame, yes, we are bearish, but we actually haven't broken this low. Now we haven't broken this low for going in since we've actually came back down about almost just under 2 weeks now. We haven't broke it, so this is probably going to be the point where we're going to see kind of that downwards motion, or if we're actually going to kind of continue up just that little bit more. So GPUSD, same kind of boat and the same sort of scenario, if I'm going to be honest with you. On the 3-day, we did come down into this weekly imbalance. This was actually Corona times, I believe, January, February, March. Yeah, so Corona times. And we did actually, and we have actually started to mitigate out of these orders, close some imbalances. And you can see for the time being, we are potentially kind of maybe looking to see if we could go a little bit higher. So far, what we do have at this current point is we have had a low, lower high, lower low. So now looking to see if we are actually going to kind of pull into maybe this high for potential shorter moves. And AU as well, I can actually see going short, but just depending on what points. So this is kind of lining up nicely as well. So any kind of move like so, higher time frame, but really and truly what I think we could do before that is we are now undergoing some sort of accumulation. We do have this 8 a.m. London low down in here, which I could actually see potentially getting taken. We can see we do have this last 4-hourly move, which actually hasn't swept or hasn't just closed that imbalance yet. So I would like to see that get met. Yes, we are high time frame bearish, but we do have a lot of liquidity resting kind of in these highs. So I wouldn't be surprised if we did actually have some sort of sweep in here before we headed down. But what I'm looking at for the time being is just this movement. You can see we had a shift in momentum here. This is our low that caused this high. Pull a fib from our high to our low. You can see that fib is lined up with that supply zone quite nicely, and our fib retracement levels are looking quite nice as well. So what I would like to see is, you can see here, potential head down and then potential continuations high to take out these highs and to take out this high as well. So you can kind of see a bit of a theme that I'm kind of looking for the coming week. So I'm looking for shorts to then long, and GU I'm looking for shorts to then potentially go long if we do get the confirmations of structure breaks. Unless we do break lower, then that's fine. But this was a lot of news that happened, so I can imagine there's a lot of orders in here which do actually want to be mitigated out from. So it's going to be quite interesting to see what does happen with that. Anyway, pound Swiss is also looking quite interesting, if I'm going to be honest with you. We have kind of just sold off really and truly. We are actually coming into this whole reaccumulation area. You can see this is our reaccumulation phase, and you can see this was our spring, this is our test, and then we continued from here. So right now we are actually coming all the way back down. We just came in, took out that low, and there was a really nice 30-minute demand zone, which is in this area, which I'm potentially looking for longs from. You can see this was our major low. We actually mitigated out of that, and we started continuing and heading higher. I can show you that 30-minute supply zone right now. That wasn't a good idea. Let's do this. Cool, where are we? So here we are. You can see super nice 30-minute supply zone, demand zone, sorry, even in here, which I am potentially looking to get taken out. So, or not taken out, but potentially just tested. But let's kind of look at the here and now. You can see on the 4-hourly, we had a kind of a really big sell-off. On the daily. This is our daily demand zone, which you can see kind of give us that buy to sell movement. So this is going to be my first point of contact, which I'm really going to be looking for. So far, dropping it down just on the hourly, you can see we had that impulse, and now we have actually had this correction. This is also nothing more than a reaccumulation. We have our impulse. We have our impulse. our correction, and then either looking for that impulse again or impulse again. But this is a descending correction, and in my opinion, that's nothing more than just a reaccumulation. You can see all of these lows actually getting taken before we actually really get down to that last low, which is last week's low, last Friday's low, come into that 30-minute zone. And then once we do kind of see some sort of momentum shift, that's when I'm going to look to see if we can get to longs and kind of fill this daily imbalance zone. And that is actually quite a nice amount of pips to be playing with, around just under 300 pips. So that is actually going to be really nice to see if we do get that. I am just going to be waiting patiently on these. So far, the only really nice pairs that I'm looking at is pound Swiss. These do look nice, but I'm going to just wait a little bit because I'm not 100% sure. The last one I'm looking at is euro pound. Euro pound, now we've kind of been in this long ranging zone, and if you guys watch my videos, then you know that I really kind of like euro pound. But you can see we came down, market open, all of this liquidity we got taken, and we are actually kind of now having a bit of shift in momentum. But if we kind of just go on the high time frame quick, on the 4-hour, we came in, we invalidated the supply with the breaker structure, looking for the supply that caused that break. You can see this is the demand that caused that break of the supply zone. And from here, you can see we are just been mitigating. And this is actually currently our big zone of demand. So where the price wants to head, what are we doing? Head down one more time and mitigate to then actually go long. Or if we're actually going to stay with this clear sweep, kind of head down and then potentially pop back up into potentially this nice 3-hour zone, or we have a really, really nice 30-minute zone in here. You can see we swept this high and we've got some nice demand that was invalidated. So there's a few things that could happen. Like I said, we can either head down, look for here and continue. We do have a nice 8-minute demand zone in here, which is unmitigated. Or right at the moment, you can see we swept the low and we have actually having a bit of a shift in momentum. We had a fib, which was from this high to this low. You can see looking for retracements into this high. You can see this is that fib lines up really, really nicely. And that is lining up really nicely with this 30-minute zone. There is a 15-minute zone in here, and you're not wrong to be looking at that. But for me personally, I think sometimes we do have this imbalance in here as well. So I think potentially a lot of people could actually be looking at that zone, and we do actually have some highs in here, which is why, if anything, we could potentially run up, take out this high, head to the downside a little bit and mitigate higher, or we could just break it. As soon as we break it, we look for pullback and then continuations. But at the moment, I am actually not too sure. If I do get a long opportunity down in here, if I get the reaccumulation, I will have my first target just up into here in case we do actually head back down to then go long, or if potentially we do actually die off a little bit. But I am going to see if I can look for longs in here, just because we've had this sweep and we have had this shift in momentum right now. So looking for a consolidation, manipulation, looking for a breaker structure, which is happening here, looking for that potential test and then continuations. But we are going to wait and see. But this 30-minute supply zone is looking quite nice for me in my plan anyway. So potential downside movements and then continuations on euro pound, but we could even take out this high, like I said, and maybe dig a little bit deeper into this 3-hourly zone. So that is what I'm looking at for this week. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. Feel free to fire away and I'll help you as much as I can. All right, guys. Thank you.